Dare to dream a bigger dream.
All right, so I am Kim Eichhoff, and this is my Dare to Dream video series that I'm doing, talking with entrepreneurs and small business owners who are following their passion, creating something that is unique, and really just doing something that they love to do. And I'm a business coach. I've worked with business owners for the last 10 or so years. And every time I talk to somebody, the reason I'm doing this is because every time I talk to somebody, I get inspired by what other people are creating. And I thought it would be cool to share that with other people who are either thinking about maybe doing their own business or maybe have a business and just need to be re-inspired and re-motivated by what they're doing, because it's not always easy. So on that note, we're with Charity Phillips. She is a personal chef, and I will let her introduce herself, talk a little bit about your business and kind of when you got started with it, and then we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm Charity Phillips. I'm with Nourish Me. I started my business about 3 years ago. I personally had a lot of health problems and couldn't work as a chef because of the flour. I have celiac. And so I thought if I started my own business that there were a lot of other people that were probably in the same boat and needed some healthy food to help them feel good. And then the other thing that I really stress is I want people to really enjoy the food they're eating, not just be eating things that they have to stay well. I want them to love
it. Yes, and your food definitely does that. It's delicious and healthy. And so tell us a little bit, like, how did you get into this? I know you had your own health challenges, but tell us a little bit about your background and why food is such an integral part in your life.
So I grew up on a farm. I pretty much always cooked. Like when I was 1, I had a little rolling pin, roll out pies with my mom. And then in the 3rd grade, I did my first solo meal. I did desserts in the summer by myself, and then cooked full meals from scratch in the 7th grade. I've always loved cooking. I put myself through college working at restaurants, and then I got a degree in graphic and website design, which I love design, but I hate working on the computer all day long. And so I decided I really needed to switch careers. And I started working at Sir Tab in their cooking classes. And then I moved to working at Stir Cooking School and was a teacher and an assistant there, or a manager there.
Is that here in Denver, Stir?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it down? Where was that? Or is
it's in the Highlands.
Okay. Cool. So you started teaching there and doing that, and then so you briefly were in the graphic design world, right?
Yes.
And then kind of came back to food. And it seems like graphic design, because I have another client who's into that too, and she's also very creative. So it's just another way for you to show creativity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think my food is my art. Like, creating taste is definitely a different form of art. And I look at creating flavors and like muffins and putting things together that you wouldn't normally put together to achieve, like, for instance, my muffins are like almond flour and tapioca starch, and usually they have a vegetable and they're sweetened with date paste. And that's not a normal combination for a muffin, but it's healthy and it tastes good still. And so I look at that as a form of art, like throwing things together that you wouldn't normally put together.
Right. And then finding those flavors that work. That's awesome. So how has the experience for you been of having your own business and learning how to grow it? Has it been super simple and you just figured it out and one day clients just showed up, or has it been an evolution of yourself as well as of the business?
Well, my business coach, Kim, like that having your own business is a spiritual journey. And when I first started working with her, she told me that, and I said, no, I've had enough spiritual journeys. I don't want another one.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Definitely been a spiritual journey for me. Uh, learning to have confidence in myself and believing that my food and what I have to offer is good enough to put out there for people and that they really would like and need this. That has just been really hard for me to get to the point of understanding that. And that's been really important. And that's really helped me all across my personal life as well, too.
The confidence piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learning to see the things you do well and value them and realize that other people will value them as well. I think it's very important to having a business and learning to put that out there for other people.
Yeah.
Kind of putting out a piece of yourself. And that's very scary.
Very scary, very vulnerable, right?
Yes.
Good. So as you have gained more confidence in yourself, not only as a chef and in the food that you're creating, but also selling your services, right? Marketing them, selling them. How has that confidence helped you as far as like pricing, types of clients you attract, stuff like that? These are not leading questions, Sherry.
This is another one that's been a battle, like not underselling myself and learning that what I do, my service has a value and I need to stick to that value and not be like, oh, they must not be hiring me because my services are too expensive. I should drop the price. But really, like realizing that my services do have value and sticking to that value, and that people will come and pay me to do that. That's been a struggle for me for sure.
Well, I mean, it sounds like part of it is trusting that the right people will show up that will pay the prices, right? That you need to charge to be successful.
Definitely. That's definitely been part of it. And the more I trust that people will show up and I just put myself out there, the more they do show up, which has been very surprising for me.
Well, and so talk about that a little bit more, because I think that's true for all of us. I think where we get tripped up is that the speed or our expectations are not necessarily met quickly enough, right? So okay, I'm trusting the universe, the right people are going to show up, I'm charging the right price, but then it might take a little bit longer than what we think is appropriate, and we give up and we go back to our old ways. So have you experienced that and like kind of dip back into the old ways and then come back and, that seesaw, and now you're like, nope, I'm seeing that it works, I'm sticking with it? What's that been like?
Yeah, I've definitely struggled with that. And I have a very niche market with working with holistic nutritionists and creating food that really helps you feel your best and helps people with autoimmune diseases and other health problems, bring themselves back to feeling, normal almost on a regular basis. And most people don't want to, I guess, jump through all of the hoops that it takes to be that healthy. And I think the other part is you realize that you don't know how to make the food. A lot of people realize they don't know how to make the food they need to. But if they just call me up, I will make the food that fits their diet, that helps them feel good. And sticking to my niche market, which was a real big struggle for me in the beginning, because I just didn't think there were enough people out there that needed that. But I've been really surprised, like there's so many people that need that service.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing I think about your business and most of our small businesses, we don't need a ton of market share. We don't need hundreds and thousands of people. You just need some really good kind of steady clients, right?
That's totally true. And that was a good realization for me. Like, I don't need 10,000 clients, I need, 30, and
Right.
I'm good.
And you're in a big city in Denver. There's more
Yeah,
than 30
and
people
30
that
clients isn't that many, really.
Right. Not at all.
And learning how to network was a big challenge for me in the beginning. That was interesting. I've never networked before. That was definitely a new experience. And now I actually like it. I realized that networking has brought a lot to my life, and that I've met so many new people that I love, and it's really expanded my personal life a lot, actually.
Like making friends and things like that too.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So with that network, because I think for a lot of small, especially if you're a little more on the introverted side, right? Networking can feel a bit overwhelming.
Yes.
But what I have seen is that for small businesses, especially solopreneurs, it's probably the most effective way to grow your business, at least initially.
Oh, yeah.
And so what did you do? How did you get over those fears, and how did you kind of work through them? How are you really different now versus how you used to be, or how, feeling when you would go to a networking event? How are you different?
At first I used to think like I really needed to just sell everybody I meet, like, and if I don't sell them, then oh my gosh, I'm not going to have any clients. And I also thought that I don't know. I learned that what's really important about my business is that I help people. And if I come to people the way I am, instead of like putting on the selling face that I thought I needed to put on, but I just come and say, you know what, like, I really want to help you. That's why I went into this business, is because I feel like, I've learned these things being a chef, and I know lots of people are struggling to eat healthy. It's really confusing and no one knows what they should be doing. And I have some good information that I can really help people with. And I changed to just not worrying about if I was selling or not, and just going and trying to help people and enjoying myself. And the more I just showed up and didn't like expect something particular result wise, the more people I got in, which was really surprising to me. So it's more of just showing up. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just putting it out there.
Right. Well, and I think that's cool, because what it tells me is the more authentic you are, right, the more people really like who you are, your true self, versus this salesperson of charity trying to get a client. And then they're attracted to you as far as energetically, and then wanting to learn more about your business, and then ultimately maybe become a client, or at least a partner somehow, strategic partner.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, being my authentic self has always been a struggle for me. And this has forced me into doing that more than anything ever has. And I'm actually really grateful for it. It's safe to just be yourself. And, well, I guess if it works out, it does. If not, okay, we'll move on.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about because before your business looked like, your model was you went to people's homes, cooked food for people in their homes. Tell us a little bit about how you're handling this pandemic and how you've shifted things.
Well, for the first 2 or 3 weeks, I think I went through a lot of, oh my gosh, how am I going to move forward? Ah!
I think a lot of people did, yeah.
Yes, I need to be doing something, but I don't know what to do. And I'm stuck and I'm frozen and I can't do anything. During that time, I was slowly working on my website and making it so people could order food online. And and just throwing out ideas. And it was, almost too many ideas. I was almost at too many ideas.
You're kind of an idea queen, Charity. You are. You always have lots of them. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm like, okay, you need to pick a few, maybe one, and just try that. We'll try it. You're not, I had some savings, and I run my business with very little overhead. So I'm not in danger of like going out of business unless I just decide to stop doing it. So like, okay, calm down. We're just going to try some things and see what happens. So one of the first things I've tried is Saturday night in dinners, where you order them online and they're delivered directly to your house. And I'm doing healthy comfort food right now because everyone wants something comforting. I mean, I don't normally eat junk, but I have been eating some potato chips.
That's good to know. Even you're eating potato chips right now.
It's my major struggle.
Yeah.
Don't buy the bag of potato chips. Don't do it.
Right. Right. Keep them out of the house. That's so true. So the comfort food people have been interested in that then, ordering it online.
Yes, but finding a way to still make it healthy and good for you, because you need the immune boost, you need the vegetables and the good stuff in your body, but still giving you the thing like, food is an emotional thing. When we're struggling, we're having a hard time, we want something that makes us feel comfort, like it's familiar, we recognize it, takes us back to a time when things were okay.
Totally, you're right. Well, and I will say you did those pies for Easter,
Mm-hmm.
and they were hugely comforting. I ordered a couple of them for friends, and then we got one, and yeah, it was just, and we had it for like the whole week, so we had a piece a night.
I think you're the only one I knew that had it for the whole week. I don't know anyone else.
Most people ate them all in the day. They were so good. I was just trying to savor it because I was like, I don't want it to be gone, so I was trying to enjoy it. But no, there was something really comforting about it because it was sort of like a warm hug it was snowing here also, which made it really nice as well.
You need double comfort food on those days.
Yeah, totally. So I can see, how we're responding to that or why we're responding to that. So do you feel like one of the questions that I think is interesting as I've been doing these videos and things that I'm noticing is that most of the people have had their business for at least 3 years before this period has started that I've been talking to, 2 to 3 years at least. And I'm wondering for you, was the time, when you started your business and the struggle that you had trying to figure out how to network and how to sell yourself and how to get clients and how to start making some money, that time period and kind of working through the fears and all that stuff that came up, has that helped you during this time kind of manage it better? Because I'm sort of under the impression, I don't know if this is true, but that entrepreneurs are probably handling this time a bit better than just people who work for a business somewhere or a big job, because we know how to deal with struggle, right? Like this is something we always deal with. It's just now in a very different format. So we're all having to be creative and figure out new things. So do you agree with that statement? And if so, what have you seen in yourself?
I do agree with that. I mean, in a lot of ways, I've told my husband this. I'm like, I feel like I'm starting over again, like where I was 3 years ago. And I worked really hard to get to where I'm at, and now I feel like I'm back at square one. But I'm not really. I realized after I started pivoting that I'm not back at square one. Like I do have a network built. I do know how to do this. Um, and after I got out of the panic mode, I realized, oh yeah, I have done this before. The skills didn't go away.
Right. I think that's cool because I don't know, it's sort of where we thrive the most, I think, when we're under challenge, where we have to be creative and we have to come up with new ideas. And for me, that's what's been fun about this time. It's like, ooh, what can we do differently? Not that I'd like to see anybody's business suffer or challenge, right? Because people work so hard on them. But for my own business as well, I've had to be thinking about that. So I think that's kind of the cool resilient part that we have, right? That not everybody I think everybody has it, but not everybody explores it as much as probably entrepreneurs do.
Oh yeah, for sure. I also think, they say a lot of CEOs come from the Midwest. And growing up on a farm where, we were really poor when I was young. And it really taught me to think outside the box and
Yeah.
like, well, what can we do to fix this? Or like, you know, we lived in the middle of nowhere too. So if you wanted something, you literally had to figure out how to make it yourself. That's kind of interesting problem solving skills, I think, really are coming in handy for me now.
I bet. Yeah. So you even have that extra layer of background information and experience that some of us don't have. That's awesome. um, so if you tell us a little bit of like, what are some things, I guess, that maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't know an answer to this question yet, but what are some things that you have experienced during this time? And it can be personal as well as professional. It doesn't have to just be about your business. This time has given you this opportunity to learn certain things or see certain things or um, create a different type of lifestyle than maybe you had before the pandemic happened, because we were all so busy running around doing all these things. Is there something that has come up for you that, yes, this is what I really want to incorporate into my life going forward? And kind of how are you going to do that, or what would that be?
Um, in a lot of ways, I don't know if I'm there yet. I I will say my kids being at home and not having any activities, like the amount of driving I'm doing has really gone down. I'm just not
Yeah.
like I used to be, which is really nice. I'm not exactly sure how I can incorporate that in the future. My son is going to start driving in June, so that will change. Um, I think one of the things it has taught me is that um, there aren't, like, I feel like for me especially, I got so focused on that narrow thing that I was doing that I didn't actually have time to do anything else. And I just like kept focusing and focusing and focusing on that. But since I have not been able to do that, I've realized, oh, well, there's all these other opportunities that I could take advantage of that I might actually like better, like partnering with the CSA at Five Fridges Farm. Like that's been
Mhm.
fine to work directly with someone who has local produce and maybe make salad dressings for their salads, show people like how to cook vegetables, or take the local cheese and make some gluten-free sourdough cheesy bread or something. And
Yeah.
there's all kinds of interesting opportunities that are popping up. It is still scary because it's all unknown and you're like, well, I don't know if this is going to work out or not, but it's also exciting. And for a while, and still now, I felt like I oscillated between being really excited and really panicked. Really excited. Um, but I'm moving more towards the middle, so I'm not going back and forth so much. Um,
So it's a little more even, the emotions.
yeah, it's starting to even out.
Are you getting to a place where you're having a bit of like cabin fever now that spring's coming? Are you ready for things to kind of evolve on, or how are you feeling about just the whole overall pandemic?
Um, I would love to go and do some things outside of the house. Um, Uh, my friends that are close to me know that I love garage sales and thrift storing, and I really am missing that.
Mm,
I realize it's really weird, but and I love going to restaurants and coffee shops, and I would love to go and do that too. But yeah, um, and I miss seeing people. I feel
yeah.
weird when I see people in person now. Like dropping deliveries off last Saturday night. I'm like, just seeing people in person.
I felt like that too when I saw you. I'm like, I don't really know what to do right now. This is so, well, plus you had a mask on. You know, it gets all weird now. It's like, oh, okay. So,
Yeah. So,
interesting.
and my daughter and I did her nails. She wanted to do her nails on Saturday night. And I'm like, well, no one's going to see these. Why are we doing your nails?
For you to be pretty, right? Feel pretty. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you had one piece of advice to give somebody who was interested in starting their own business, what, or maybe they are, what would that be?
One piece of advice. Um, well, not to make this too self-serving for Kim, but get a business coach. I mean, Kim has
That is
been
a great idea.
really life-saving for me. I've had a lot of emotional, like back and forth, like especially early on. It's like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And my husband was always like, I'm so glad you have a business coach because I don't know how to help you.
Yeah. Well, another person I interviewed earlier said a mentor. So I think you're right. Somebody, right, who knows, who's been through it, who can see kind of the bigger picture, can keep you focused on what you're creating and help you get out of the fear place when you get kind of stuck, because we always get stuck in there. So we all need somebody like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really helped me. And even, BNI has been interesting. It gave me a structure in my first year of business because I just didn't know how to network. And it's really good at teaching people how to network. I will say that. And
Yeah.
it has given me a lot of business. So I would recommend that as well.
It's kind of nice too in those groups to be, or any kind of networking group, but to be around other small business owners, get to know them, right? And hear, oh, you struggle with this too, and you go through this also, and this is your big challenge.
Yeah, you don't feel as alone, which is really
Right.
helpful because so many other people are just, going to their job and they don't have to make it their job or bring the business so they have a job. It's really
Yeah.
a thing.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, those are great pieces of advice. So if somebody is watching this, would love to reach out to you, find out more about how to order from you or how to talk to you, how do you do that?
So you can order on my website now, nourish the number 4.me. We also have some Mother's Day packages coming up if you guys need something for your mother. Doing some special chocolates, homemade Belgian chocolates, hazelnut
Wow.
center, and then we're doing a chocolate peanut butter ball, which is very popular from our Christmas.
Oh.
And then we're doing a chocolate sunflower seed coconut bark with Maldon sea salt. And if you would rather just order hot chocolate cupcakes with an Italian buttercream caramel crunch with a chocolate covered strawberry on top, you could do that.
Wow. I gotta go check your website out.
And then for our dinner this week, which they change every week, our Saturday night in, we're doing paleo fried chicken. It's made with almond flour and cassava flour and some herbs and spices that make it really yummy. Mashed red skin potatoes, and I haven't decided, either asparagus or cold slaw. And then we have sides, blueberry zucchini muffins, chocolate chip coconut spoons, roasted broccoli, or you could do, what is our other one? Oh yes, a sweet potato biscuit with raw white cheddar and chives.
And all this stuff's gluten free, right?
Everything's gluten free. A lot of it's paleo. It's all made preservative free. Very careful with our ingredients. It should work for a lot of people. If you have specialty requests, definitely give me a call. My number's on the website. Email me. I can alter almost anything to fit your dietary needs. So
yeah,
very open to that.
great. Well, thank you, Charity, for joining me. It's been a fun conversation and learning more about your history, your path, and where you're headed. And I look forward to seeing you soon in person.
Thanks, Kim. This was great. I had a good
Good.
time.
All right. Good. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
So dare to love, dare to laugh. Take a stand, say yes to your path. Dare to shine, dare to fly. Make a scene. Dare to dream a bigger dream.